Hello everyone, welcome back. It has been 2 weeks since my last update and I am really proud of myself. I think I might have hit my stride for filming videos every 2 weeks. It seems like a good interval, at least at this point, because in terms of symptoms, there's really not a whole lot has changed. I've honestly never really had that many symptoms, at least so far in this pregnancy. So today will be a brief week 16 and 17 update. Today I am officially 18 weeks. But then I am going to talk about all of the things that I am doing to prepare my body for birth, and I guess maybe why I feel like that is important. So for week 16 and 17, like I said, not a whole lot has changed. I'm still having a bit of the pregnancy rhinitis. It's also kind of like allergy season here in Florida, so that has complicated it a little bit, but honestly, it's not been that bad. Still having the lower back and hip pain, although I will talk about this in a minute. The things that I've started doing to help that, I think, are really starting to make a pretty big difference. I'm not feeling as stiff as I was previously, so like changing from like a seated to a standing position was, I mean, it was not like terrible, but it was uncomfortable. It kind of like took me a second to like get my bearings and stretch out before I could like really start moving, but whatever. So, how am I preparing for the birth of our baby? So, I guess I'll start out with why that's important to me. So, I inherently believe that pregnancy and labor and childbirth are a normal physiological process that, for the most part, doesn't really need to be fussed with. I think that nature has, created our bodies to do this really, really, I mean, when you think about it, really incredible thing. Like, we grow a human inside of us that then actually comes out. And obviously there are lots of extenuating circumstances that sometimes can prevent you from having a completely natural labor and delivery. But having worked as a nurse in OB for a lot of years, I really think that a lot of the complications can be mitigated by just kind of like letting a woman's body do what it's supposed to do. Now, obviously, natural birthing is not for everyone. We definitely live in a culture where women don't really know a lot about exactly what's happening with their bodies during pregnancy, especially during labor and childbirth. And there's a lot of fear surrounding that. Definitely TV shows, media, movies do not help that. Every woman's frame of reference for giving birth is this like screaming, traumatic, horrible thing, when really it's not that, or at least it doesn't have to be that. So right now, what I'm doing for myself is I am laying the groundwork to give myself the best chance of having the kind of delivery that I want. You will hear a lot of people say that it doesn't matter how the baby gets here as long as it's healthy and you're healthy, whatever. But I honestly don't think it's that simple. Talk to any woman who has had a very traumatic birth, a birth that she felt did not go the way that she had envisioned, and things were done to her that she did not feel in control of. And I say that, you can't necessarily control every aspect of birth, really. I mean, it's going to kind of unfold the way that it does, but it can be really, really traumatic and have a lot of lasting effects on women. You know, I think that birth can be something that completely blows your life wide open and is empowering, or it can be the exact opposite. And I would like to set myself up to be in a position where, you know, it's a really, really great experience. So that being said, these are the things that I'm doing to prepare myself. So I know I mentioned before, and I will show these here, that currently I am reading Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. Ina May Gaskin, she is a pioneer in midwifery in the United States, really kind of all over the world, to be honest with you. I highly, highly, highly recommend reading this book, especially if you are a first-time mom. I mentioned before that the first half is just really good, like, positive birth stories. But it also has stories that had complications and how those complications were dealt with. And but the second half is just really, really good, like, in-depth information on all of the normal processes for definitely labor and birthing, but also just pregnancy in general. It's just got a lot of really, really great information. And I think that if you are someone that is feeling really, really scared about what is going to happen or what will potentially happen, this book has really, and you know, admittedly, again, I've worked in OB for a lot of years, so I already knew a lot of this, but there are things in there that I didn't know. So I think it's a good book for everyone, regardless of whether or not natural birthing is something that's important to you, or if you feel like that's something you want to undertake. It's just got a lot of really good information in it. The next book I will be reading is Spiritual Midwifery, again by Ina May Gaskin. I'll let you know what this one entails. I think it's just kind of like thumbing through it. Again, it's going to go into a lot of information on like the physiology of labor and delivery, getting babies out, pregnancy, kind of all of that. So I'm excited. Kind of excited to get into the meat and bones of this one too. Oh, and both of these books have lots of fun birth pictures, which I love birth pictures. A lot of women, or people I guess, are squeamish about them. I love them. I just think it's so freaking cool. Like, that a baby comes out of our bodies. I don't know. Whatever. So those are the books. Next thing I am doing is I have implemented a new exercise routine. So admittedly, pretty much my whole first trimester, I was a bump on a log. Not because I felt bad or ill or wasn't feeling well. I honestly feel like a part of me was worried that I was going to do too much and like shake the baby loose, which obviously is ridiculous, but that's just kind of where I was. So I have really ramped up my exercise. My goal is to walk 3 miles a day, which for the most part, I've been able to get that. It's usually between 2 and 3 miles a day, which actually feels really, really good. I honestly, my body feels best when I'm up and moving around. If I'm just kind of like sitting around watching TV or dinking around on my phone, like my body just feels so stiff. So I definitely feel really good to be up and moving around and walking, especially since I am not working right now, you know, so I'm just not naturally getting as much physical activity as I would be if I were working. The goal for these 3 mile walks a day, I think, is really, really especially good and especially important for me since I'm not working. I've also been trying to do some form of prenatal yoga every single day. I have found just some videos on YouTube that I watch and do. That has felt really, really good. Not only like for my body, but also kind of like helping to relax me. I have really been struggling with having like a lot of like racing thoughts. Especially at night when I'm trying to go to sleep, struggling with like turning my brain off, which kind of sucks. But I do find that the yoga helps with that as well. In addition to the yoga, I've been doing some birth ball exercises. So last week I got my birthing ball, and I am loving it. It feels so good on my back to sit on it, even if I'm just like watching TV or something. I like to get on the ball and just kind of like do big circles with my hips or rock back and forth. It's just really, really good. It relieves a lot of tension in my lower back. So highly recommend it if you don't have one. I do a lot of stretching in addition to everything else that I'm doing. So I'm really trying not to spend a whole lot of time sitting on the couch. Because it's terribly uncomfortable. Maybe that's just like our couches. But it's just better in terms of like your posture. So I do a lot of sitting on the floor, to be honest. And while I'm down there, again, I'm doing lots of stretching to help keep my hips nice and open and limber, stretch out my lower back. And I really feel like all of these things have helped the pain that I've been having, especially while I'm sleeping at night. I'm noticing that I'm not waking up as much because my hip hurts or my back hurts. I've also done a lot of tweaking of our bed and our sleeping situation. So we've added another mattress pad and trying to get the pillows just right. It's a huge thing. But I think that for right now, I'm in a good spot. What else? What else am I doing? So I think I've mentioned in another video that we are doing hypnobirthing. I had Chris download the audiobook as well, so he knows what's what. So I've already listened to the entire self-study, and my plan is to really just kind of continue to listen to it until it gets really like cemented in my brain. It's also been really good for just kind of like calming my brain. I know I just mentioned that I struggle with that. So doing that and doing some like guided meditation, especially right before I go to sleep at night, has been incredibly helpful. I think it's also helped to release some of the fear and worries that I do have for, pregnancy and labor and delivery and all of that. So I think I'm a firm believer that putting out good intentions or like focusing on good intentions for what you want is a good way to hopefully make it be so. I'll let you know how it works out. My diet. I have really, really been trying to like eat less junk. My doctor told me to continue to really focus on getting more protein and to balance my protein with my carbs. So that's definitely something that I'm mindful of, and I feel like I'm doing better, less like junk food, less fast food. So that's been going well. So last night, this is a really big one. Last night we met up and had a consultation with a doula. So I found her on a Facebook group that I joined for, I think it's called like Chewy Parents, like not crunchy, not super, or whatever. It's, just like a parenting group. And I saw her name listed as a doula, so I contacted her and we met up with her last night in Gainesville. And it was a breath of fresh air. Honestly, like, I really, really, really like her a lot. She's very, very knowledgeable and she has a lot of experience. And I feel like we're definitely on the same page. She kind of alleviated a lot of my worries in regards to my OB practice. Not that I have had a bad experience, but just like not really knowing or hearing a lot of like opinions about how things usually go, how, you know, open they are for natural birthing. Same with the hospital. You know, I have no idea what the unit is like. So she alleviated a lot of my fears and told me that I'm in with a great practice, and the hospital we'll be delivering at is wonderful. So that was a huge load off of my shoulders. Chris and I both really, really liked her. So I filled out and sent in my application today. So we just need to pay our deposit. So I'm super, super, super excited. You know, I feel like if you want to have a natural delivery, you need to have a doula. It's just that simple. And if you're kind of on the fence about that, go talk to one. I mean, usually their consultations are free. And I think that they will give you a lot of good information and explain exactly what it is that they do. You know, I have a lot of birth knowledge in my brain. Chris does not. You know, I don't really feel like I can impart all of my knowledge on him, especially when I'm in labor. So like, the doula is going to be that extra support that we both need, especially with us being down here in Florida and not really having any resources in terms of family and friends. Like, we're just going to need that extra support. So I feel really, really, really good about it. I think that she's going to be a really good fit for us. You know, something that I really want to try to maintain is my sense of humor. That's kind of important to both Chris and I. Like, if you know us personally, you know, we generally do a lot of like laughing and teasing and, you know, have like a jovial kind of banter, maybe. And it's really important for me to try to like continue on with that, especially during labor, if at all possible. So feeling comfortable to be ourselves is very important, and we both felt very comfortable with her. So super excited for that. She also told me to ask again about whether or not I can switch to the midwives in our practice, because currently I'm seeing my obstetrician, and I was told in my very first nurse's visit of this pregnancy that if you're high risk, you can't see the midwives, and I'm considered high risk because of my age. And she seemed to think that that maybe was not accurate information. So I think I'm just going to send my physician an email and just ask her about it again. Not that I haven't been happy with her care or that I'm unhappy with her. I just really feel like, you know, the midwifery model of care just kind of is gonna probably jive better with what we're wanting to do. So I will keep you guys up to date on that. And I think that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to be a resource for anyone if I am able to, especially anyone living in Central Illinois that needs any like doula midwife resources. Let me know. Thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to. I hope everyone is doing really well. I know that Illinois is about to get more snow. They just had a bunch of snow last week. I've been whining because I feel like it's cold here, which, you know, it's like in the 50s. Oh, how quickly we forget. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Oh, I think I was going to show you guys a bump update. Okay, give me a second and I will get that set up.